Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum students. Today I will be discussing with you a very simple but complicated topic of microbiology, that is primary response and secondary response. Okay students? Primary response or primary immunity, both are same things. Primary response or primary immunity, students, both are same things. Okay, by definition, immune response of the host on first exposure of the antigen is called primary response or primary immunity. I repeat students, immune response of the host body on first exposure of the antigen is called primary response. Students, primary response involves mainly B lymphocytes. In primary response, B cells undergo activation by T cells and convert into plasma cells, and these plasma cells then produce antibodies. I repeat, primary response, it involves T cell dependent activation of B cells. B cells are converted into plasma cells, and plasma cells, they produce antibodies. Students, plasma cells, single molecule of plasma cell produce hundreds and thousands of antibodies in their life period. Okay? In primary response, beta cells undergo class switching, maturation, affinity, and differentiation. After passing through these three processes, B cells are converted into plasma cells. Okay, what is class switching? In very simple words, students, class switching is the ability of B lymphocytes to produce immunoglobulins M, G, and E. Okay? I repeat, class switching is the ability of B lymphocytes to produce immunoglobulin M, immunoglobulin G, immunoglobulins E. Students, in primary response, plasma cells first of all produce immunoglobulin M. This is the characteristic feature of primary response. In primary response, always immunoglobulin M will be produced very first in response to the antigen. Okay? Then immunoglobulin G, immunoglobulins E, and immunoglobulin A. Students, primary response lasts for 7 to 14 days. It remains for 7 to 14 days. It means that in host blood, immunoglobulins N will remain detectable up till 7 to 14 days in very high concentrations. Immunoglobulin G, they will be detected in lower concentrations in primary response. Okay. Now this primary response, it may last for even month, and it depends on dosage of the antigen or route of administration of the antigen. Okay students, now we come towards secondary response or secondary immunity. Students, immune response of the host on re-exposure or repeated exposure of the antigen is called secondary response. Or in simple words, we can say that secondary response or secondary immunity is that type of response which develops in the host after re-exposure of the same antigen. Okay students, secondary response mainly involves memory cells, either B memory cells or T memory cells. In secondary response, immunoglobulins M and G, they are produced together. Okay? In primary response, there was sudden increased concentration of IgM. In secondary response, IgM and IgG are produced together, but IgG immunoglobulin, it suddenly climaxes. So we can say that increased concentration of IgM is the characteristic feature of primary response, whereas immunoglobulin G climax is the characteristic feature of secondary response. Students, secondary response produces shorter antibodies. This primary and secondary response mechanisms, students, they are basis of concept of immunization in microbiology. Okay? The concept of vaccination lies on primary response and secondary response. Thank you students. Allah Hafiz.